Hi, it's Etharal here, and today we are back with our Stellaris Twilight of the Imperium, or Warhammer 40,000 mod, where we have been playing as the Tau Empire, looking to try and expand into a new sector of the galaxy and claim it for the glory of the greater good. We, in the last episode, had just been trying to set up our third sector, going pretty well there. You can see it has been expanding steadily. It's managed to claim quite a few planets, and we do have a new colony that it is establishing just to try and bring that one further into the fold once the pods have expanded enough to be able to touch with the current existing ones, so that we can be able to move all of that sector over. Here in the northwest is where a lot of our focus has been in the past few episodes, trying to really capitalize on this area of space which doesn't have any enemies in or any enemy empires, so we want to try and claim that as quickly as we really can before somebody else does manage to expand further into it and then claim all of those resources for themselves, which is not something that we are wanting to do. And we are now starting to get to the point where we are basically working like a line completely across from the center of the sector through to the edge to be able to block any travel and any expansion on this side of the spiral shape that we do have, I believe. Now, we have been going pretty well with this so far. We have managed to explore out to more or less the whole of the outer rim, so this sector is going to be expanding again a little bit further there as we've established the colony, so we put it straight into the kind of a sector. We've also managed to get that planet there. The borders have expanded just enough to be able to bring those in, and so the two sort of touching points of the kind of a sector are finally joined together to make one solid sector, which in terms of how it looks just makes me feel so much better in that one, as it was really bugging me having those two separate ones that were just right next to each other and just not quite enough of a border to be officially connected. Here down in the south we are pretty much, we've moved as far really south as we can. We've only got the choice of moving east or northwest now. You can see we are steadily enveloping our protectorate as well. They are somebody who are not really threatening us in any way, shape or form, and they are not really much of use. We are expanding here in this northern part. It is looking like there is some potential with some colonization technologies to be able to expand into there as well and set that up as an actual another sector as well, which will be our fourth sector. We will see how that one does go. Hopefully we will be able to get the colonization technologies sooner rather than later, though it is very much basically just dependent on to them as to exactly where it is that we do manage to go. We are waiting to move the Danik even into the kind of a sector as well. They are still trying to terraform. They are a fair way there. They're now about 2/3 of the way. It's not something that we need to do. We're actually going to reduce down the effectiveness of that planet from habitability of a green to an orange. However, it is something that I want to do basically just to be able to say that I've done it more than anything, to be honest. It's something that interests me, and I want to try out the terraforming and see how it does go and what effects, negative, positive, it may have. And so we're just giving that a try for the minute, and then we may look at terraforming it back later on if needs be and things like that, obviously, if it's something that ultimately doesn't work out best for us. Here you can see our fleet, which has improved massively. It's now up to 4,500, and so that we're going to move down to be able to take down some of the random NPC enemies that are blocking our expansion to the south. With us being able to remove them, that will put us in a far better position to the south and potentially opening up another option for colonization, although that is something that there is a lot of colonization options still going on in what is actually the heart of the Tau Empire at the minute, so we're not going to be getting that too quickly. Here we're just going to establish up another defense platform. We do have some slightly better platforms that we can now get through technology, and so we are going to look at getting them. Here we are looking at our actual colony area. This is our newest colony in our original system. It is a very, very nice world. It is a tropical world, so if we could turn it to a desert world, that would make it even better, but I'm not going to sort of risk with that or anything at the minute. It fine how it is. It's, you know, it's a desert planet. It does its job, and I'm happy with it. Here, just going through, we're having a look, checking to make sure that all of our places are up to date with their building options, which they actually, a lot of them aren't. So we're trying to just expand that. The main one we'll focus on is the physics technology. That is the one that is lowest, although not by all that much. We've managed to pull it back up into range near enough with the other ones, which is good. It was lagging behind quite a fair bit. It is still lagging behind quite a fair bit, but it could be still improved a little bit more, bring it up in line, but it is at least now in an acceptable amount, so that could be an awful lot worse. Here, just moving these guys around as well on Danik Prime, making sure that this planet is, as it's something we're going to have to keep for the minute until we're finished with the terraforming. We might as well at the very least get it to a planet which is acceptable and improve it as much as we are able to. Here we are just as well looking at our technology, the technology tree. We are doing pretty well with this. We are bringing in a fair bit of resources every single month and steadily learning about more and more options, which is presenting us with more and more for our actual empire itself. We're just going to move this new colony ship in though to be ready to actually take this another land and be able to increase the expansion. You will also as well remember in the last episode that I did talk about looking at potentially improving my spaceports, even not starports. I wish there were starports could create things the size of a star, but no, the ships and spaceports, we are considering getting an extra couple of those on some of the planets at the minute, although that's not something that I'm doing just yet, although I am considering it as we are getting close to the point where we could really use it. We are still lagging behind in influence, which is the one deciding factor which is stopping me do that, as without the influence to be able to get the new colonies, there isn't really much point in having new spaceships to spaceports even to be able to build the colony ships that we then will basically, they'll just be sitting around and we can't use them. Here we're just building up as well a research station there, not something that we actually need at the minute, but we might as well get it ready so that as soon as those actual tau do become usable, they are ready to go basically straight away. Here we're just having a bit of a flick around, and I'm going to actually potentially get that ready there. The first fleet is managing to basically cut through anything with very, very little difficulty. It is something that is very, very strong. It's a very strong fleet at the minute, and there's a lot of options that it can do, and so they are just going to basically move in. They're going to take out as many of these guys here. This has really stopped our expansion into the south, and then I believe we will send an actual science fleet to go down and potentially go and look at getting some of these. Here we're going to set up though our next sector. This will be our 4th sector, which is going to be in the east. It's going to go from here to Torum and then down further south as well, so that is going to lead a lot of area. And if we ever do manage to bring our protectorate, if they ever do become strong enough to be able to join forces with us in terms of technology and be completely subjugated, then I will likely bring those orcs into this sector as well, so limit their potential amount of influence to us. Here, actually talking as well about so much colony there. Very luckily, we managed to get a new colonizational tech, so that should be something that, fingers crossed, will allow us to be able to get some more colonies, and at least that is the plan, at least. But any more colony technology that we can get is always going to be a good thing. It will allow us some options to, first of all, be able to expand our influence and be able to colonize some actual new places, but also as well we can look at terraforming some places in the coming decades. That is something that I think I will likely want to focus on. It's why I've tested out this time. It's not something I've really done before. I tend to just leave the planets as they are and then sort of deal with them, for lack of a better way of putting it, but we're not going to keep doing that for much longer. We are going to now look at trying to colonize and make sure that we are using these lands as efficiently as we absolutely possibly can. If you do want to see all of that happening though, do be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Let you get those updates for when I do have new videos coming out, which are coming out every single day at the minute. We'll manage to get quite ahead, so I've got quite a few of them scheduled up for yous. And so here, just coming back to the game, you see that we have managed to expand there. We've got our next Levion Gamma Prime the new colony and the new sector. That one is already here. It looks like there's actually quite a nice little, well, it's a moon, so it's not an actual planet, but regardless, there is quite a nice one there that we could potentially look at moving into. So that is something that we will have to wait and see how all of that goes. Though there is one there that I believe I can move into, but again, it's a Stone Age people, which is a little bit annoying because yet again, Stone Age people that we cannot uplift to bring into us. We can't exterminate them because of our guys' beliefs and the laws of our people, which is less than ideal, but you know what, we can deal with that for the minute. And so here we're just setting everything up here just to make sure that when we do manage to put this planet into the kind of a prime system, then that will mean that this one is going to be again benefiting that one. I have noticed that I did have a bit of a problem with Canova Prime. They were actually losing money, which was not a situation that I want them to be in. I want them to be profitable, as if they're profitable, they're going to be putting money back into the Empire. Here you can see as well a good situation I'm in terms of resources for the Empire. We're at +2 energy credits at the minute, and we've actually got 2 colonies being established. So that is an excellent situation to be in. We are pretty much now out of a lot of risk of potentially, you know, any potential let's start that bit again there, got a bit tongue-tied. So that is of any potential energy credit deficits. Here you can see quite a fair bit of going on. We've got a fair few different guys there that all seem to be in the south. We haven't actually came into very much contact with them yet, as our bods are now all really starting to get crushed. Here we are seeing a steady decrease in the amount of people that are options and room. So here, there we go, we have got the Levion Gamma systems that are all set up here. So we're just going to, you know, establish this one and organize exactly where it is going. It is the smallest sector that we've got at the minute, really, in terms of actual area of space, although it is still reasonable enough size. It is going to be able to pull in a fair bit, and we have established all the different planets that we are going to want to make part of it. This is Torum. We are moving a colony ship to, which is right on our border with the craft world Eldar. Is a planet that we should have probably looked at trying to get sooner rather than later. We have probably left it a little bit too late, but you know, it is a good one. It is still somewhere that we can use, and we're going to probably use this as potentially a staging point for the military, for if we do have to declare war on the craft world Eldar, which, as we are getting further and further into the middle game of the expansion phase, that is going to really, they are going to be our next choice. We don't really have an option with that though. Here you can see we are moving our guys down as well to the south to be able to look at expanding further into there. So there is some options that we can go there. We've got a fair few options at the minute of what to do with, and we're just really, at the minute, we're just looking at solidifying all these sectors and make sure that they are going to be something to be feared, basically. Although they, I say feared, they're probably not particularly feared at the minute. Hopefully though one day they will be, as they are getting up to speed. We have seen, particularly in the last couple of episodes, a massive increase in the amount of expansion that we are doing. We are really starting to expand quite quickly here, and hopefully that will continue over the next few episodes and into the future as well, so that we can be large enough to be able to bring in the resource to be able to rival any of these ones who are potentially better technologically than us for some reason, which is kind of, to be honest, quite strange for anybody who's familiar with the Tau in the actual Warhammer world. They are one of the more they're one of the younger races, but they are actually one of the more technologically advanced races, as they are one of the few people in the 40k universe who aren't actually afraid of technology, which is a very rare thing, like say, for the Warhammer universe, which has pretty much the whole of it has stagnated. Here, something I'm just looking at here is the Kai system and onwards, that they're going to cost quite a lot to influence to actually bring in. But here, that is an ideal situation to set up a actual, you know, another sector here. So we've got 2 here. Unfortunately, this one's a Stone Age one, so Agini, we couldn't maybe potentially take that unless we can work out how to get rid of them. But, you know, there is 3 or 4 sort of 3 green worlds and then some orange worlds that we could bring in as well. So I think that may be a sector we may have to cave. We may have to look at getting that one there. Here, I'm just having a look around. This is, again, that is the Stone Age world that would really, really like to be able to get rid of them. Or if not get rid of them, bring them into our empire would be a nice one to do as well. Probably not something that I'm going to be able to do anytime soon, but you never know. So for the minute, we're just going to continue on with our initial plans. We're looking at expanding, we're exploring here. We want to try and move out and hit this edge of the Empire to stop anybody getting round us and swarming us, and then we can look at where we can go for expanding there, and possibly maybe even looking at trying to move around and actually swarm into the Eldar. That might be quite a nice option to try and do. Bring those Eldar under our control if we are able to. We'll see how that one does go. We've got a lot of room as well to be able to move up with our fleet and everything. So our fleet, we've got, you know, 14 capacity that we could do. So that's another battleship. If we can leave it a little bit longer though, we actually might be able to get another battleship on top of that as well. So that again, you know, 2 new battleships. The battleships really are effective, so that is going to bring our fleet up to a very, very high ability and very high strength, keeping it all as 1 block for the minute though, just to ensure that there's not going to be any risks of it. Here we're just trying to have a look around then, so I'm going to leave it all there for today. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Etharal here at EGN, and do be sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you did enjoy this for all of my future Let's Plays and get your notifications for them.